And action. I think I'm recording. Hey, everybody. I'm looking through the discussion posts, and I'm glad most of you submitted your posts. They look really good. I think I need to provide a little more clarification on exactly what is needed here, though. I'm seeing a lot of students providing more than one example and not primary sources, mainly secondary sources, and a lot of secondary sources. First and foremost, you are not posting the entire essay. So if you've done that, you don't want to do that for the next two posts. And there's definitely a reason why for that. What I'm trying to isolate here is a common mistake students do with essay writing. They throw out examples from the readings, just trying to grab whatever is from the readings, and they don't explain how that example is constructive as a response to the essay prompt. So that's what we're aiming here for. So keep that in mind. So let me just take this one essay prompt for an example. Discuss the nature and the contributing factors that led to the development of the American Revolution. Analyze how the French and Indian War affected Britain's American subjects and helped pave the way for later rebellion. Okay, so there's a lot to that essay prompt and a lot of examples that could be provided to respond to that. What I'm getting, especially for this essay prompt, let me pull this over here, our responses like this. The five main factors that contributed to the American Revolution were the influence of the Enlightenment, philosophers, economic independence, the practice of self-government, the development of colonial unity, and silent pressure of the environment. The silent pressure of the environment was the idea to be self-reliant for the influence of the Enlightenment philosophers. They knew a way of thinking. Self-government was direct result of bad government. Okay, if you want to slow down here, you've provided 5 different examples in this response. Just one. Okay, if you just provide one, then you can take some time to explain how that one example could be a good constructive response to the essay prompt, right? You'll need more when you actually type out your essay prompt, but for this assignment, you just want to do one so you can explain how it is. So let's say this person just provided the Enlightenment, right? So if they just provided the Enlightenment as an example, that would have been great. Then they could have expanded on how the Enlightenment as a factor for the American Revolution was a good example, right? So you had this, in the response to that, the explanation of why the Enlightenment is a good example. As you got from the readings and from the videos, you could have explained how there was a philosophical movement that talked about how philosophers were borrowing from the scientific revolution and using reason as a way of justifying the need for government, right? And so explaining that government should be there to protect life, liberty, and as John Locke put it, property. And in doing so, and if it does anything beyond that, then it's an illegitimate government, and it can only be a legitimate government if it has the consent of the people, right? So those ideas were born in Europe, and they were just ideas, right? So everybody was kind of scratching their chin. It's a great idea, John Locke. Too bad that'll never happen, right? That's an idealistic world. But those ideas were transplanted to the Americas, right, in British America, and because of the environment, where there wasn't a hierarchy, where there weren't standing armies, where there weren't set in stone structures of society, those ideas were actualized and enculturated in a society that actually demanded to live by those principles that were explained in the Enlightenment. So isolate only one example. The other thing you want to make sure you do is have a primary source, right? So if you want to go to there, and this is a little tricky, you have to actually do some reading and do some analysis here. You want to go to that link where it says primary sources and find one and explain how you can use an example from the primary source to respond to a part of the essay prompt. So I hope that helps for the next essay prompt. Don't worry if you provided a whole bunch of examples and didn't really provide too much of an explanation or a scattered explanation. You want to be very specific too. Use dates, use names, you be very specific. Another thing I'm finding too is people are generalizing. Don't use words like they, Europeans. There's a lot of different types of Europeans. Native Americans. You know, what Europeans are you talking about? What Native Americans are you talking about? Are you talking about, when it comes to Europeans, are you talking about the English? Are you talking about the Spanish? Are you talking about the Portuguese? When it comes to Native Americans, are you talking about the Cherokee? Are you talking about the Algonquin? Are you talking about the Seminoles, right? Be specific. If you could find dates too. Anytime you can associate a year for whatever you're talking about, throw it in there. Remember, this is a history class, so it helps to begin to, for yourself, to gain an understanding of a timeline. Okay, I hope that's helpful. Let me know if you need any further clarification. I hope you guys are watching this. If you are, go forth and be great. Take care. And one other thing I forgot. So tonight you have to do replies. Keep that in mind. When you reply to your student, one, what I've seen with some of the replies too, is they are like commenting, oh, this is a great thing that you wrote here. No, that's not what I'm asking for. You want to provide other examples that could help respond to that essay prompt, right? And when you do that, isolate only one example and really elaborate on how that example specifically is a response to the essay prompt. Okay, so hopefully that's helpful. You can make it up with your replies today if you gave me a huge thing. Again, you're not writing entire essays. You're providing one example from the secondary sources, which is the textbook, and one example from the primary sources, which is what is from the link within the textbook. So when you add a reply, you just have to provide one example, either a primary source or a secondary source. If you have more, that's okay. But remember, for each one you do, you want to tie it directly to the essay prompt. That's key. Otherwise, you could just grab words from the textbook and throw them on there, and that's not helpful to anyone in the class. It's not helpful to you. You want to make sure that you are making the connections from the example to the essay prompt, right? And demonstrate your understanding of what is being asked within that essay prompt. Excellent. Well, that's it. Take care. Bye.